Have you ever felt as if you had to hold back your truth and your feelings? My name is Zayan de Castro. I am a womb guide, feminine embodiment facilitator, and emotional healing facilitator. And in this podcast episode, we are going to be talking about the importance of emotional intimacy and being real. And the reason why I felt inspired to talk about this for my very first podcast episode, OMG, it's because this is probably the foundation for this new project for me, for why I decided to start a podcast, because I feel that it's so important to create spaces where we talk about all the things that are taboo, that are socially unacceptable, that are hidden. And as someone who's worked as a therapist for over 8 years now, I think it's really interesting how so many of us feel alone or weird, or as if there's something wrong with us because of different things that we're experiencing, or different quote unquote issues that we're having emotionally, sexually, in our relationships, or about spiritual experiences. And if people knew just how many more people feel the same way, they would feel so much more connected and just so much more in compassion and validation for themselves and their experience, because a lot of people think that they're the only ones who are feeling that way, or who have those thoughts, or have those problems, or those experiences, but they're not. And it's so interesting for me, and really it's really powerful when, first of all, we let ourselves be the first witness fully for those things where we have shame, insecurity, doubt, and second, allowing other people to be the witness for that too, and to realize that we are not alone. We are social beings, and we need connection, and we need to feel that we're part of something. And it's so important for human beings to feel seen and heard. And it really doesn't help to perpetuate those old societal structures that tell us that certain things are okay and certain things are not okay. So this is a space where we can challenge a lot of these ideas, and especially give ourselves permission to give voice to these things, to these topics, to these things that we're worried about, or these things that we secretly love. Why not share it? Like, another thing that I've been thinking about is that we're all gonna die, right? We all know that that's the only certainty. We're not here forever. And I don't know about you, let me know, but I'm here to live to the fullest. I'm not here to perpetuate old ways of living and or to keep myself small. So, invitation to share something that you feel with someone you trust. Now, that doesn't mean go ahead and just share all your deepest secrets with someone all at once. No, you can listen to your own timing, honor your boundaries, honor what feels edgy enough. You can go and do something a little edgy, share something that feels a little, a little deeper for you than what you're used to sharing. Or maybe there's just something that you're experiencing right now. Go and share it with someone you trust, because you might actually be surprised to see that you're not the only one. And even if that person doesn't relate, they might give you compassion too. And just in the process of sharing and shining light on these things that we usually hide, it's like the shame melts away, and it's such a powerful way of self-reclamation. And it's a way of telling yourself subconsciously, I respect who I am, right? Your needs, your boundaries, your feelings, your experiences, they're all valid. And it doesn't matter if you're the only person in the world who feels that way. It's still valid. And the most powerful thing to let go of shame is to bring light into it and to expose it, which is usually very counterintuitive, because what we tend to want to do is just hide all these parts of ourselves that we've learned that are unacceptable. Or, I never really heard anybody else talk about this issue in their sexual life, so I guess I'm the only one. Or I never really heard about anyone else being so sensitive emotionally about this specific thing, so I must just be the only one. And no, you're not. No, you're not. And I definitely know what it's like to live in a very unconventional way. And I think there's a lot of power in that. And I think that it's really important to be willing to look at those things that are deeper, right? To build that deeper intimacy in our relationships, and including our relationship with ourselves. So if it feels a little too edgy for you to go and share that one thing with someone at the moment, here's my invitation, second invitation. Write about it. But write about it in the most raw, honest way that you can. Like, when you're writing about it, bring in the details that feel the most cringe, the most weird, and the most uncomfortable, and put it on paper. And you can be your own witness. You can start off with that. And even if it stays just like that, just for you, that's fine. But just don't allow it to stay in the shadows of shame. And you might just look at that paper and realize, this is really not that bad after all. Maybe this is actually valid and understandable. And just bring in a little bit of curiosity around it. For me, it's a revolutionary act to be more intimate with ourselves emotionally and more honest, and so with other people. And a lot of times the reason we don't share certain things is because we are afraid of disapproval. We want to be loved, right? And that's very normal, very understandable. But we can't, we're not giving people the opportunity to love us until we show them who we really are. And I think that it's kind of sad to dim ourselves or shrink ourselves to try to fit into what we think someone else wants to see in us. You are perfect just the way that you are. And there is so much expansion and so much collective healing that happens when you share those things that are deeper, raw, honest. And I fully encourage you to give yourself permission to do that today. And if this resonates with you, make sure to follow me here on my podcast for more deep and real conversations. And drop me a comment. What did this conversation stir up for you? I would love to hear. Thank you so much for being here, for bringing all of you into the space, and I will talk to you soon.